Hello everybody, it's your boy Budgie back with another VV Ultimatum video. Today we're going to be going over the new dungeons that have released with Update 2. Finally, the update has been released. It has been such a goddamn wait, honestly. But anyways, in this beginning segment, I'm basically just going to be showing you where to go to find the dungeons. Basically, you want to hold C for your soul sense. C is the base key button, just so you know. And look for the dungeon icon, which you should see on the screen right now. If you don't see it in game for whatever reason, even though you should see it, it's by the Mizuku Sato waterfall. It'll be right at the bottom of it, and you'll be able to find it. So just follow along with the clip on screen. Once you make it here, you'll be given the option between easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. These each give different EXP and rewards based on how well you do in the dungeon. Not quite literally, but obviously, the harder the mode, the more rewards you get in total. The rewards can range from EXP, cash, and chest. So we're going to head into the dungeons right now on normal mode, just for the sake of getting the video out and helping you guys through the dungeons. Anyways, when you first go into the dungeon, you'll see a minimap at the top right and a timer at the bottom left. I don't think the timer actually has any downsides, so I think it's just best to completely ignore it and do what you need to do. The minimap basically just updates you on your locations, so you can always go back and easily find the entrance/access to the areas you need to go. One last thing, you now have a money icon on the top right. Looks like coins, as you can see it's on the top right. Yellow circular things. Completing rooms and defeating enemies will reward you these coins, which you can then use on the merchant later on in the dungeon. I will explain this later, but check the timestamps if you just want to skip to that point. Along the dungeons that you do find, you'll find these puzzle rooms. I'm not sure if you can find more than just this one type of puzzle, which is the laser and mirror one. But I haven't really heard of other people finding anything different, so just follow along with this clip if you need to see what to do. But the basic explanation is that you need to change the direction of the laser is pointing to break the crystal at the very end by interacting with these stones on screen. And then once finished, you'll be rewarded a cube, chest, and coins. I will actually be explaining cubes right now. Cubes are gained throughout the dungeon either by purchasing it from the merchant for 100 coins and getting a randomized one, or by completing one of the rooms of the dungeon. These cubes are extremely advised to get throughout the dungeon, as they can make the experience a lot easier. These cubes usually have no downsides to my knowledge and are primarily just buffs towards you. You get varying buffs such as M1 damage, defense, flames on your blade, lightning on your blades, and then basically no stun, or just damage reduction. I already said that, my bad. Or just more damage in general. So again, cubes are incredibly useful, and you should absolutely grab them along the way. And I also don't believe they have a set limit either, so grab as many as you want. Alright, for my third point, I'm going to be talking about the room types. I know I probably should have talked about these at the very start, but, here they are. For beginners, we have the puzzles that we talked about in the very beginning, which I already explained. But to simplify, you do a puzzle, which is only one type to my knowledge, and then the room is complete. The next type of room we have is a wave room. This will spawn waves of enemies which you have to defeat for your rewards. Pretty simple overall, and they aren't really that difficult. These don't have a boss at the end either, so you get through these pretty squishy enemies and then you get rewards. The next type of room we have is going to be a mini boss. You'll encounter these along the way and will house a mini boss you can beat for better rewards than the other rooms. They're basic humanoids with some buff damage and HP, but they're still pretty squishy overall, so nothing to worry about overall. And then last but not least, the normal rooms. These rooms will spawn a single wave of enemies which you beat for your rewards. Overall, these rooms are pretty simple and easy to learn, and should cause you absolutely no trouble. Alright, for my fourth point, this will finally be the merchant. The merchant is just like any other room and will spawn in randomly. It is guaranteed to spawn in every dungeon, so once you find the merchant, you'll have an item shop which has randomized items like in any other world, and then in the middle of the room you can talk to the NPC and ask him for rewards. You can spend the coins you have earned throughout the dungeon for said items, which you can see on the screen now. The NPC's items you can buy with coins I do not believe are randomized and will always be the same to my knowledge, like I said, so take that how you will. You can also spend 100 coins for a randomized cube. And the last thing to talk about is the fact you cannot go back after beating the final boss. So I would highly suggest clearing every room before the main boss and then running back to the merchant to buy whatever you needed. The next point, the main boss. The main boss room will house a pretty big boss overall. I'd compare him to King Croc in a sense, and he has some pretty recognizable patterns that I feel aren't too difficult to actually learn. For the most part, you just want to dodge his running attack and parry the rest. Although this is only my second dungeon ever, so I do get kind of beat up in the clip you were watching. He has a second phase when you get him to half and he begins to spam Ceros. These Ceros do not multi-hit, and you can parry / block between each one. So even if you miss one parry, you get another opportunity to square up again. Once you beat this main boss, the dungeon will end and you will be granted your final chest and showed your overall stats for the dungeon. I don't believe these stats really do matter other than show you how you did, but the boss is pretty simple overall and quite easy to learn. Congrats on making it to the end. If you know my content is not usually focused on like guides and stuff. It's usually focused around PvP. So if you're interested in that, I'd suggest checking out my channel for content just like that. I just thought making a quick guide for those who are curious about dungeons would be really nice to do, as I was pretty confused when I first started. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video or my content at all, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out and much love.